What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, I am going to be doing another DIY today, specifically for my laundry door. So I got this inspiration from Hannah's Happy Home. I think that's her Instagram name. I'll put it right here. Basically, it is revamping my door for my laundry room. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I already got most of my supplies, most everything. I'm gonna see if I need more of anything. Yeah, let's get into it. I'm excited. So first, just getting some before action. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first step is just to take this down and bring it downstairs. I've literally never taken a door off before. Oh God, is this a two-person job? I literally just took off my first door. I've never done that before. So I also made sure to take off the doorknobs because I'm gonna be putting a new pull door handle. And then for the paint, I used some old paint that I use in my bedroom. It looks blue right now, but as I mix it, you'll see it's actually gray, and the color is Dorian Grey from Sherwin Williams. I definitely recommend this emerald paint. It was so good, but I actually had a lot of learnings during this process. One learning being I actually didn't have to paint the door ahead of time just because where I placed my panels, since I didn't leave spaces, I ended up not even needing to have the base gray. So for the next door, you'll see I ended up just leaving it white and putting on the panels that way, and it still had the same outcome. Okay, so next step, making the cuts. Like I said, I had a lot of learnings and I had a lot of hiccups. This was my initial thought process. So I was using the MDF boards that I bought, and I was going to line up about 3 inches wide of strips so I can make cuts with my circular saw because I did not have a table saw. You will see the issue with that is I don't really know how to use my circular saw properly. I don't feel like I have some of the proper tools to do it that well, so I was struggling. I do not think I'm going to do well with that circular saw. It smells like something's burning in there. My measurements are not even, so I really did not want to have to buy another saw. I keep buying these freaking saws. From there, I tried to use my jigsaw. The jigsaw didn't work out either. My, cuts were not even. The reason why I was cutting it myself is because when I bought this MDF board from Home Depot, they said they couldn't make the cuts. So I eventually ended up going to Lowe's and getting plywood instead of MDF. They were able to cut the plywood with the 3-inch wide strips for me. So that's what I ended up doing. Ugh. No way, Eva. Fine, you can stay. So basically, instead of using MDF, I had to get plywood because Lowe's didn't have the MDF board that I needed. So we're gonna be working with plywood instead, but I think that's completely fine. It's just a little bit more expensive. But when I tell y'all, I was so happy that they were able to cut all of these 3-inch pieces for me because I was struggling with trying to use my circular saw to make the straight rip cuts. I was struggling to use my jigsaw to make the straight rip cuts. So it was either this or I had to go buy a table saw, and I don't really want a table saw right now. So, Lowe's to the rescue. So now that the hard part was over with the cuts, it was just about laying down the design, and then Ava's just keeping me company. But I wanted to use Hannah's Happy Home. It's like a tongue twister with that. I wanted to use her design as inspiration because I really liked that design. You will see again, another learning moment. Basically, I put all the pieces down, then nailed them down, and was following her steps as far as putting them down and then cutting with a circular saw by flipping the door over. Problem with that is she did note that's probably better to do with 2 people. Me, on the other hand, I was trying to do it by myself. When I flipped the door over, you see for yourself. These are gonna easily come off. I'm honestly honestly run into a few different hiccups with this already. As you saw in that last clip with me trying to flip it over myself, because I just popped everything off and I'm kind of restarting. So instead of doing that initial design, what I'm thinking is I might do something like this. I saw it on Pinterest and I will put a picture here, but I'm thinking that I might do something like this instead, just because I feel like I can cut along the way and I don't have to worry about doing that flipping thing at the end. I think this is a little bit up my alley and I think it's still gonna be cute. Scrapping everything basically, starting over. Okay, so now moving forward has been the process that worked best for me. Basically, I lined up where I wanted to put different pieces, measured where I wanted to make a cut, and then took it over to my miter saw to make straight cuts for anything that had a 90-degree angle. And then I did 45-degree angles for everything else that was like, you know, kind of like a triangle or had a degreed side to make the design that I wanted. So at this point, it was much easier for me to operate this way. From here, I just needed to nail them in, and really the pieces fit together like a little puzzle. So it was really easy to work with this method. All right, guys, so after lots of cutting, this was what I have. So this is how it looks laid out. I do not even have anything nailed down, but this will be much easier for me to nail and then paint and get going. But I will say the nails used with this nailer, it did the job, but as you can see in that other clip when I flipped it over, it is easy for them to be popped off. So that's a good and bad thing, just because you can easily move things if you need to, but you want to make sure it's secure. So from here, I just used some drywall hole filler and filled in all of the holes, gave it a light sanding. I also used that hole filler to fill in some of the cracks on the side until I could get some more caulk. So for the other door, I actually used actual caulk, but this one worked just as well, just to fill in some of those cracks that go into the side long panels. So again, just giving it a light sanding before I start priming. I just used Kills primer to prepare for me to put back that gray, Dorian Grey Sherwin Williams Emerald paint. Update, this is where we are at. So we have one side already painted and done, and then Chris helped me speed through getting this one all set up. So I have the caulk and the holes filled, just need to sand it a little bit. I'm going to caulk a little bit more on that line, and then I'll prime and paint and we'll be all good to put it back up and put the handles on. So it was at this moment, you guys, I tried to lift it up to move it over, and I realized I had nailed the door to the floor because I tried to add some reinforcement nails that were 2-inch long for those smaller nails that I was using with the nailer, and I nailed the door to the floor. So just another learning and another hiccup with this project. I was completely over it at this point, but it's also funny to look back at. So I just lifted it off to get all the nails out, and then I'll just have to make sure that I bend the nails that I did the 2-inch ones. So tip, don't do that. I mean, I wanted them to get lower, but those were way too long, I guess. That's fun. So for this, I actually used 2 coats of paint. So I'm just putting on the second coat on the first door while the second door has the primer drying. And actually, I'm going to probably end up doing another coat after I sand the door now that it's up, which you guys will see just because it has a little bit of imperfections that I want to correct. But yeah, I would say probably about 2 to 3 coats of paint. All right, guys, so this is how we're leaving it tonight. They're both still drying. This one already has its 2 coats. This is the first coat drying. So tomorrow what I'll do is finish the second coat here, and then bring this one upstairs, put on the handle, and then do the same with that one, and we should be good to go. I hope it looks okay when we put it up. I had to change, my original idea. I had to change a lot of things, but it is what it is. And it's not looking too hot right now, but we'll see. So it is the next day, and Christian, my boyfriend, is here to the rescue. Ava in the way as usual, and basically we just took it from downstairs, brought it upstairs, and began putting it back onto its hinges that were already there. Because I already had a ball latch installed, I didn't have to do a new one, but that's important for this project if you want to use one of the like pull handles. But yeah, so we just worked together to get it back on the hinges. It's definitely helpful to have a partner with this part, because I do not think I would have been able to do this by myself successfully. So yeah, we just put that up and then began working on the handles. Also, as you can see, all of the nails that got pushed through when I used those 2-inch long nails. So we did bend them closed, but I'm going to cut them later. So the handle was also kind of a trial and error, but I used this pull handle that I got from Amazon, and I think it's specifically for cabinets, but I'm using it for the door. It's about 11.5 inches long. I'll put the link in the description, but really we just made some measurements to see where we wanted to put it and then drilled some pilot holes to put the actual screw in. So we did have a little bit of mismeasuring going on here, but ultimately got it together and finally finished the project. Nice handle. Got a little hole there that I'm gonna cover with caulk, but I'm kind of annoyed that some of these nails that I must have forgot about are poking out and have paint just over them, so it doesn't look that great. But it is what it is. It has its own look, I guess. I don't know. So again, as a reminder, this is what we're starting with the before and now the after. Alright guys, so this is the final product, and honestly it looks a lot better than I was starting to think, just because a lot of these little tiny pieces that I need to sand off are aggravating me, but when I took a picture of it, it looks so good, especially compared to how it looked before. So I'm pleased with it. I had some challenges. Honestly, this was one of my more challenging DIYs. I've run into like more hiccups than I typically do, but it's up and it's looking cute. And I also think it looks good. I'm glad I kept with doing the gray instead of staying with white, just because it still looks really good in the hallway with the rest of the white doors. So yeah, I love it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, but make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and turn on your post notifications to be updated every time I upload. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.